Hey everybody, it's been quite tricky filming the last week, as if you couldn't guess why. Yeah, we've been like flip-flopping between just above freezing during the day and then below freezing at night, which means you end up with ice everywhere. And I've had two close calls on the XJ6 and I'm like, I'm not riding. not until next week when it warms up. What's the point? It's just risking things for no great return. So instead I thought I'd come down to the beach and talk about the subjects I want to talk about, because there's been some really interesting developments recently. Wow, this is getting huge. Oh, it's got to be done. There's technique to this. You just... If you remember my old videos, these groins used to continue all the way down here. Well, when I say down here, I actually mean up here. And because they removed them and they let the beach return to its natural state, we currently have some quite biblical scale erosion going on. Most of this has happened in the past few weeks. Did he just fall over? He did, didn't he? Yeah, the pay and display machine in the middle of the beach is a good clue as to how much it's moved. This used to be a road. This road actually used to continue to that far end. There was an entire built car park and there was beach huts, and all of that has just been destroyed. It's quite amazing how quickly the sea is breaking up the tarmac as well. Anyway, she gets to the subject of today's video. There has been two recent sort of developments in technology that I've seen that I think are absolutely huge, groundbreaking, massive moments that people generally have not paid much attention to, or at least the media has not paid much attention to, kind of like a side story while they talk about some other big kind of constructed story. By the way, that was not aimed at any one particular political current thing that's going on. The media are just, you know it's a problem. But anyway, let's talk about the good things, the things that are like hopeful and positive. So you may have seen a story in the news about a breakthrough in fusion energy production. As I say, this has been skirted over massively, but this is a huge thing. Very quickly, let me explain. Fission and fusion are two different things. Fission is when you take one big atom and you break it apart into smaller atoms, releasing the energy from it, basically, and then they hit into other ones that release energy from them, and that's your big spicy bomb. Fusion does the opposite. It takes small particles, joins them together to make bigger ones, and you can make electricity out of this. Now, the most amazing, like counterintuitive, that should never work because, like perpetual motion and all that sort of stuff you've always been taught can't work. Well, this is what the amazing thing of this fusion power creation and the development of this is that you put in 1 unit of energy and you get 1.5 units of energy out. You get more out than you put in. It's like a pyramid scheme that works for everyone. Now we know this works because that ball up there, the sun, is doing the exact same thing. That's what they're doing. They're creating a very small little sun for a very small amount of time. If they could continue that process and have it as a running reaction, you literally, it's just free energy. And all it's doing is turning hydrogen into helium, from what I can tell. If you can power the machine by itself and still get an output of more, and it's a non-fossil fuel, it's clean. The fuel is in there, it's that stuff. Immediately, you've got to break it up, and I've got videos talking about the whole thing of lithium and hydrogen versus petrol and synthetic fuels and all that. I've got videos, really in-depth videos on those. I'll link at the end or somewhere if you're nerdy enough to want to know. I have been waiting decades for this news. I knew about this in the past and was like, I can't wait for the day that I see that we actually get there. It's the first step, but we did it. And I think it's insane. It could change the world entirely. Or it could make one person really rich, and that's my concern with the way that the world is. So yeah, a great hopeful piece of news for the future. Is it actually icy on the beach? Yeah, it's genuinely frosty on the beach still, with all the salt. The other one that I want to talk about, which you've probably heard a little bit about, and I've talked about in the past, I did a video saying like AI art is nuts. Now I wasn't just talking about AI created art, I was talking about AI generated content in general. And yes, I know it is based in what humans have done before, but they've made a thing called OpenAI chat bot playground. Now this is an AI which you can ask it to do complex things, from write a script in the style of a certain person talking about a company, and it will go out there, it will find that information, and it will correlate it together, and it will make it into a readable script. LTT did this and it was bloody amazing. You can ask it technical questions and it will go out there and find the information and put it together. Now, of course, as I say, the information is out there. The way to do it is out there. Like, you know, how do you pot a plant? How do you cut hair? How do you do this? How do you do that? All the information's out there and has been for a long time. It's just this AI can correlate it together in a way which is fast, makes sense, and is written perfectly. Like, the English in it is great. I've seen a couple of small mistakes, but generally the way that it puts the text in is very human feeling. Or should we say, it reads as you would expect it to. But then because humans write language, it's learnt from humans writing language, so it will learn that. And one of the things I said, I wanted to produce some tags along the lines of a video I'd made. And it gave it to me with the hashtags. And I said, no, I don't want them with hashtags like that. I need them with commas at the end, so they stack like this. Explained it to it like you would a human. Bam, gives me exactly as I need. Copy, paste, put in. Now, as I say, I know the tool itself is not coming up with this information. It's not that sort of AI. But it's bloody useful. And you could think how maybe in the future, you know, if you give it some images from your business that's got some image recognition, or at least you tell it what the images are, for your company, you could program it to make a social media account for your company. And it can answer people automatically. Now, that does exist already with Twitter bots and stuff like that, but it's just so good. And the thing that's most amazing about this is it's free to use at this point in time because they're testing it. But it's there as a tool that you can use, and I've actually found it useful. Now, of course, a lot of people say, yeah, but what about the people who lose their jobs because of AI, blah, blah, blah. I agree with you, it's sad, but at the same time, if we didn't do that, if we didn't progress forward, we'd still be making our cloth and weaving by hand. And I always bring out the Luddites because it's such a classic example, a group of people who broke machines, the new machines, because it was going to take jobs away from other people. Did that fix the problem? No, because progression will always move forward. Not going to go, that's way easier and more profitable, but we won't do it because, you know, people don't like it. They need a job, right? No business works like that. Yeah. A lot of you might be thinking it's just a fad, it's not something that's actually going to be going for a long time, won't prove to be important or anything like that. I disagree with you. I think it's going to prove to be extremely important in the future, very pivotal. Just a bit further with this, and you could have an actual assistant on your computer. I'd love to be able to come in and plug a couple of SD cards in the computer and say, hey, can you download those SD cards, put them into a folder, and then open them into my editing program and sync the audio files to the video files. A computer could do that in seconds. It takes me so much longer. Obviously, they've got to still download the stuff and that takes time, but you know what I'm saying. I know some people are going to be like, I want you to talk about stuff for riding motorcycles. Well, I do that too, but I also do things differently. I do them as I want to do them, without following the trend and being like other people. You know, you're wrong for doing it this way. No, I'm right because I'm doing it my way. If the end goal isn't trying to get views, it's trying to produce what I want to produce and hope that then people like that, then I can't be going wrong, can I? Now, I can say in the past I was quite good at spotting future trends in an important step, which at the time people weren't perceiving as such an important thing. Wow, this is icy. I made a video years ago talking about quadcopters, drones. I mean, there was a time I was calling quadcopters, and like it was such a new thing that I think you were allowed up to 7 kilos unlicensed in the past. And I said at the time that this was going to be a far more important step forward, a far more important platform of technology to progress from and things to be built from very quickly than a lot of people realised. It wasn't just a toy. And in recent years, we've seen, well, one of the other predictions I said is we'll see people wanting less fireworks and more drone displays. That has happened. That has happened without a doubt. There has still been problems with that. You know, they can fall out of the sky and land on people, but if they're light, probably going to do less damage overall than fireworks when they go wrong at displays. And you may not think that happens very often. I've been at a display where it went wrong. Some people got hurt. Weymouth? Something like that down near Dorset. It was a summertime, I'm sure it was summertime, display that was on a barge in the water, and the barge caught fire, and one of the rockets came straight into the crowd. Not far from me. And I also said in that video about how drones could be used for other reasons, and we have seen that happen in the past few years to a huge level, you know, with what's going on over there, you know, and what they're using them for. It's incredible, and that's a technology which has changed the battlefield in a way, because it's such a small, inexpensive but accurate way of getting to them, and forward observing for artillery and stuff like that. It's just one of those technologies that its possibilities are so wide and its limitations seem so narrow that make you think that's a huge deal. You know, I see this as very hopeful news in a world full of very bad news and people taking the wrong option, the dumb option, rather than the smart option. But humans always do seem to take the dumb option. You know, case example, I'm currently in a World War II anti-aircraft battery turret pit, and the gun was here. Okay, I was just looking at this, like, why are the footprints the bit that are still frosty and the outside bit isn't? Like, that's normally the other way around, right? And then I noticed stuff was piled up and I'm like, wait a minute. These have been put here by someone, and then I saw this. So Santa, presumably, or maybe Pablo Escobar, has been here with his 6-legged reindeer, and then went. So I have hope that the uncommenting, unengaging mass out there is interested in this stuff, because the amount of, you know, people that don't seem to be interested in anything real or important and are more concentrated on this political issue that the news want you to argue about now, or this thing they want you to argue about now. You know, I've just turned 37 a few days ago, and just the world is gone mental, like properly mental. And it all really started around 9/11 and everything that happened from that point onwards. The world just went and I always keep hope that common sense and intelligence will find its way forward and to the top eventually. I know how many people are currently laughing, like, oh Jesus, oh mate, no, that's not happening. They say that in a few days' time, temperatures are going to increase by 9 degrees and this white, slippy, horrible stuff is going to go away and I can get back to talking about things while on motorcycles. I also have, oh Christ, how close are we now to, we're so close to Christmas now, it might be difficult to even get bikes through here. Oh, but we're getting closer to January when we've got some big changes coming up, and I've got a lot of videos to make that are different but also very interesting. Oh God, it's solid. I thought it was going to be hollow. It's solid. If there are any other like really important technological advances that we made recently, or that you think that are currently on the verge, we're going to find out some information on, or you've got anything to say about what's been said in this video, go into the comments and do that. I am addicted to learning new things, and I have to find something that my interest hooks into, and when it does, oh, it's so enjoyable to just go and learn all about that thing. So, you know, a little jumping off point from someone about a subject can lead to a week of me learning about something. A massive thank you to my patrons as always, and if you want to help support this channel, please do jump on board Patreon. I would really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you liked it, and I'll catch you in the next one.